Alright, good day, good morning, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. For today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to set up TCP or IP configuration in VirtualBox between two virtual machines, a client and a host. Specifically, we'll be using Windows Server 2019 and as our server, of course, and Windows 10 as our client side. Uh, so first things first, of course, you want to open up Oracle VirtualBox. Of course, you should be brought to this screen, and you would see the two machines that we have or that we would have created previously, the 2019 or the Server 2019 and the client side Windows 10. Now, before we actually get into running these virtual machines here, what I primarily recommend doing is going to settings first and foremost, changing the option to expert, going down to network, going to adapter 1, and it press enable network adapter. Now, this issue or this specific step gave me a bit of trouble, mostly because sometimes you may not in fact see a VirtualBox host only adapter here. So that's where you would most likely have to go through the wizard. In this case, you would click on host only adapter, go to the drop down here. It should have a wizard and it should ask you to enter a name. So in this case, I just left it as the default name, which is VirtualBox Host Only Ethernet Adapter. As you can see, it's routed to my what's the word I'm looking for? It's routed to my internet card in my or my Wi-Fi card in my PC. And you want to make sure promiscuous mode is allow all, or in this case, allow VMs, since we're going to be doing it in virtual machines. I'm just going to click allow all for now. And of course, make sure the cable is connected. So make sure this is checked. Likewise, sorry, you want to duplicate these settings to the Windows Server. So in this case, you're going to switch it over to expert. It should be already on expert if you did it before the client side. Go to network, adapter 1, enable host only adapter. You should see the same one that you created for the Windows 10. You should enable that here as well. Make sure it's your graphic, oh sorry, not your graphics, your Wi-Fi card. Make sure promiscuous mode is on. For the most part, you should be fine with allow VMs. I'm just going to click on allow all just in case anything decides to not work. And of course, make sure cable is on. Okay, click OK. And the next thing that we're going to be doing is running these virtual machines in itself. So I'll first start up the Windows 10 virtual machine. I'll move this VirtualBox window over to the side for now. And there are a couple of things that I want to bring to light, specifically in this notepad document. These are the different services that are going to be required for both the client and the Windows Server 2019 to actually run uh, for the connection to be made. So you can see that our Windows 10 virtual machine is here. So I'm just going to close all of this here for now, and I'm just going to enter my secure password here. And you can see that we're in our virtual box. Just so that we don't get confused, or just so that I do not mix up the VMs or whatnot, I'm simply just going to change my background to something else, uh, just so that I don't get confused. Or if in the event that, yeah, I'll change it to this. Sure, why not? Uh, just change it for this for now, just so that, of course, I don't get confused with regard to the different virtual machines, and of course, so that the video actually picks up that there's two separate machines running on a base Windows 10 installation. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is running the Windows Server 2019. Of course, clicking on the machine and then clicking on Start. I'll move this over here for now as well, waiting for this to power up. And while we are here in the Windows 10 virtual machine and while this is starting up, I'll move this over to the side here for now, to the right side. And the thing that we're going to be doing is first and foremost right clicking on the network icon, click open network and internet settings. And we're going to scroll down here and we're going to go to, where is it? Right. We're going to go to network and sharing center, which is over here. We're going to go to Ethernet, and then we're going to go to Properties. Now, on this screen, we are going to make sure that IPv4 or Internet Protocol version 4 is checked off first and foremost. And then we're going to double click on the Internet Protocol version 4. This will bring up this window here. Now, from here, what we want to do is it should be set to obtain an IP address automatically. We want to switch it over to use the following IP address. So, first things first, we want to make sure that since this is a client side, right, we want to make sure that we put for the IP address 192.168.0.2. Now, the reason why it's not 1 is because 1 is dedicated to the host server. So in this case, that would be on this virtual machine, the Windows 10, or sorry, the Windows Server 2019. Right, so of course, I do need to log in here, and I'll just enable my keyboard on this virtual machine just so that I can press Control Alt Delete and be able to log in. There we go. And then from there, I'll just disable my keyboard here. Cool. Clear up this here for now. You can see that it brings up the server dashboard. We won't be needing this for now, since we're doing TCP/IP. But for the most part, just to make sure we have the VM up, it's already here. So, going back to our client side here, we have the IP address, which is 192.168.0.2, which is again, the 2 is specific to this client. The subnet mask, which is 255.255.255.0. This is really important as well. And the default gateway, this is so all the information that goes through the server would be actually going through this virtual machine, which is the 2019. And hence, this would be the IP address of our server, right? And of course, the preferred DNS server, this most likely would be on obtain DNS server address automatically. We want to make sure that this is set to use the following DNS server addresses. And we're going to put the preferred DNS server as the server IP, which is 192.168.0.1. And we're going to leave alternative DNS server blank. So I'm just going to click OK. I'm going to click OK here as well. And I'm going to click Close. Now, let's switch over to our server here. And we're going to do the same thing essentially. We're going to right click. We're going to click on Open Network and Internet Settings. We're going to scroll down. We're going to go to Network and Sharing Center, which is not one of these options here in the server. It's actually going to be just a subtext or hyperlink. So we're going to click on that. And it should bring up a relatively familiar menu like we did in the client side. So we're going to click on Ethernet here. We're going to click on Properties. We're going to click on Internet Protocol version 4. Make sure this is ticked, of course, and then open this. And you can see the configuration that I have here as well. So the server, in this case Windows Server 2019, the IP address that I have for this, of course I did click on use the following IP address. The IP address for this machine or this virtual machine is going to be 192.168.0.1. And this is because this is our host virtual machine, right? It's the same subnet mask, which is 255.255.255.0. The default gateway, we're going to leave that blank here for now. And for specifically the preferred DNS server, right? This would be the preferred gateway or the preferred DNS server, which is this server itself. Now, when we make those changes, we're going to click OK, OK to here, and then click on Close. Now, this is not all that we have to do. So the next thing that we have to do is that we have to make sure that these servers or these services that we mentioned earlier are running on both the client side and the server side. So we need to make sure DNS client is on, function discovery resource publication is on, or running rather, SSDP discovery is running, and UPnP device host is also running. So I'm just going to drag this over to the side here for now. And I'm going to make sure that all of these services are running. So I'm going to right click on the taskbar, open up my task manager, go to services, click on open services. So before we actually do that, your task manager may not show up as this advanced menu. It may show up as something like this. So instead of this showing up, we want to click on more details. Then we want to click on services, open services. Now, we want to make sure that the first service, which is DNS client, DNS client, yeah, so this is running. We don't need to worry about that. Function discovery. Function discovery, this one, looks like it's set to manual here. In this case, I'm going to go to properties. I'm going to set it to automatic. Yeah. This would essentially be so that every time that the computer starts up, it will run the actual service. In this case, I'm also going to right click and I'm going to click start to run the service specifically. The next thing is SSDP. So SSDP discovery. That should be right here. And we can see that is running as well. And then the last thing is UPnP, sorry. UPnP device host. There we go. Looks like this is also set to manual. I'm gonna just go to properties, set it to automatic. Mind you, this is completely optional. You can start these every time. But just for the sake of virtual machines and time efficiency, I'm just going to have these set to automatic. And of course, run them after. So these four services are running on our client, so we don't necessarily need to do anything more regarding this. Now for this VirtualBox here, or for this server, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to access our task manager. Again, it should be like this with there are no tasks running. I'm going to click on more details, full screen it, go to services, open services, and then do the same thing. So we want to go to DNS clients, which is also running. There we go. Function, so that is this one. So it looks like this one is set to manual. I'm going to set this to automatic here just so that it's a bit easier for me. Mind you, you can just right click and click on start, but just for starting up this virtual machine, I'm going to leave it as is. Next up, we want SSDP discovery, so that should be over here. And we see that is running as well. I'm also going to set this to automatic just so that just so that I don't have to do anything regarding that. And then PNP device host is also running and it's automatic. Cool. So now we should be safe to do a ping test on both of these machines. First and foremost, I'm going to open my file explorer on Windows Server here. I'm going to go to network. Now, you can see here that we know that the server is working because we have two machines connected to this network storage. Now, a good way to test the delay or a good way to test the actual server if it works is to go on our client side, open up a command prompt, preferably as administrator, but you don't have to. I'm just going to do so just so that there are no errors. And then I'm going to do a ping of the IP address or the host IP address. So the host IP address was 192.168.0.1. So that's that's the IP address of our main Windows 2019 server. So I'm going to press enter here just to see if we get 100%. So yeah, 0% loss. And looks like the ping is really good. Yeah. So we can see that the ping test essentially just shows or sends some data to the server and it sends some data back. So in this case, it was able to send all of the data, all the 32 bytes, and it was able to send back the data. Right? So it sent 4 and received 4, and it lost 0. Okay, cool. So that is essentially how we connect a server or a client side to a server. And the main issues with this, like I said before, just to summarize, would be the virtual box host network adapter. That would be sort of the main issue that I encountered. And another major issue that I encountered was the services. Now, like I said, these services are really important, and these are the services specifically that you want to start whenever you are doing something like this. But yeah, just so that I where is it? The client side again, just to do it one more time, just to make sure it wasn't a fluke or whatever the case may be. Let's run it as a normal command prompt just to make sure. 192, oops, 192.168.0.1, and you can see here on our client side that it still works as intended without even administrator access, which is great. That has been how to connect two virtual machines, a client side and a server side, via virtual machines. I do hope that you learned something from this video, and yeah, do let me know if there are any comments or any questions. I'll try to respond down below. But do enjoy the rest of your day, and I will hope to see you in the next one.